Recording now. Great. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us today. We are so excited to have you here to talk about all things Pop Yourself. The presentation today is going to be given by the wonderful Dave Beret, who's VP of Pop Yourself in Retail, probably the coolest title in existence for an executive. Excited to introduce him to you all today and to walk through this presentation. As mentioned, we're recording this session so that we can give that to you after the presentation, along with some assets that Dave is going to show you for the first time today. We're going to break this up into two different sessions or portions, have you. So first portion, Dave's going to go through and we're going to have questions that we answer mid-presentation. And then again at the end, if you have questions while Dave is speaking, feel free to drop it in the chat. Does everyone have access to the chat box? Yes. Okay, great. Drop them in the chat. We'll do our best to get all of them answered at that breaking point. And then again at the end, if we skip your question, it is because that question will be answered in the second half of the meeting. So don't worry, we'll get to as many as we possibly can, but feel free to drop them in real time as you have them. Does anyone have any immediate questions before we get started? Okay, great. Well then, Dave, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I don't know if Brianna, you mentioned this or not, but we have codes for everyone. Hopefully she sent those to you. So please go through the experience, pop, yourself, your loved ones, and just, give us that feedback. We'd love for you all to do that. So if she hasn't done that already, we will do that. Why are we here? I think, I don't have a presentation up because I wanted to show the pop version of myself. We are going to be talking about pop yourself today, obviously, but if you didn't know what that is, you can create yourself. This is the fireside chat version of Dave. I got my laptop here. I got my black shirt on. It comes in a custom box where your name comes on the box. So just a lot of fun. And we'll dig into why this is so important for our brand. How I kind of have this broken out today is I want to spend some time in talking about what this brand is and why it's extremely unique for our portfolio and how it's going to be positioned in our portfolio going forward, which will probably prompt some questions. I want to talk about the highlights that we've done thus far. This has been a product that has existed in our store. We've had our two stores. We've had success. We brought it onto e-commerce on August 22nd. And I want to fill you in on kind of what we're seeing out of the gates. And then I want to go a little bit into where we're going and how we're thinking about the brand as we head into the holiday season, but also as we head into next year. Because we're really, for us, the August 22nd date was really day one about this. It was a milestone in time, but there's so much more in front of us that we're really excited to talk to you about today. So with that, I will share my screen and go into presentation mode. Brianna, hang on, let me start at the beginning. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay, no black bar?
No black bar, looks great.
We tested, we had a black bar earlier. Okay, so I think just to get in the Pop Yourself mood, I wanted to show you our 30-second spot that we released on August 22nd. So super fun, super upbeat. At its heart, that's who we are at Funko. Fun is in the name, and that's certainly a part of this brand. Ultimately, this brand is about people. And that opens up a whole host of opportunities for us at Funko. And it makes the opportunity, the business opportunity, massive, but it makes how we can engage with our fans in new ways, really game changing for us. If everyone I'm sure on the call is familiar with our Pop brand, what makes it unique is the stylization. I'll bring up my special assistant, Michael Jordan here. And you can see that the head to body ratio is a certain size. Obviously, the black eyes are a part of it, and every single item that we release has within the Pop brand has that form factor, and that has really resonated with fans to the fact that we don't, at Funko, Pop isn't a product line, it's a platform. And here are some examples of the different product lines that have come out from Pop. It could be on t-shirts, it could be on ornaments, it could be pins, it could be different scales, it could be not a physical product like our digital collectibles, which continue to do really well. Earlier this or late last year, we announced the Funko Fusion video game. That's a huge step forward for our brand, and this stylization mixed with licenses and how fans engage with it. And this is an important place to start, because as we think about Pop Yourself going forward, like, this is the platform that there's out there today. So this gives us a blueprint as we can think about Pop Yourself going forward. The other thing to note with this is this is millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars for Funko, and it is obviously the biggest piece of our business. But at the same time, as it is 98% licensed. So in a way, when you think about ways that Pop can participate in different aspects of life, that, as big as it is, that seems limiting, which is why we're so excited that the Pop Yourself brings Pop to everyone. And we think it's really our time to cement the Pop form factor as an icon. And it's not just about expansion, it's about participation. Think about our fan who loves said license, loves the superhero. It's their hero. They display it on their desk. That's a part of their life. It's a part of how fans identify. But there's so much more in that fan's life where either they themselves can become the hero, loved ones can become the hero. And now in Pop form, we think is extremely game-changing for our brand, that fans get to step into that moment first and foremost. It's about participation. It's also the ultimate narrative changer for our brand. And I'll walk through a personal example of mine. Today, Funko, we are in the business of connecting fans to fandoms. That's what we do. We connect, and then we connect them to other fans, and it creates an incredible community. Connecting fans to fandoms is pretty linear when you think about it. And these are my examples. And I do think, I'm not going to get into it today, but I do think the psychology behind why we like what we like is super interesting. And these are four of my fandoms: Ninja Turtle, Elvis, Michael Jordan, and Mike and Ike's. And just to walk through, like, just a little bit behind those, Ninja Turtles is the first piece of content I ever saw. It's the reason pizza is my favorite food. My grandma loved Elvis. That's all she listened to. That when I think of my grandma, I think about Elvis. I'm born and raised in Chicago, a kid in the 90s. Of course, Michael Jordan's a hero of mine. And my brother, would never let me have his Mike and Ike's, and we'd always have them in the house. And I just never was able to have them. Like that. That's how I connect to the fandoms. And that's why, which I think is interesting in itself. But again, like, that's only a part of who I am. I got 3 kids. I'm married. I got a dog. It's my best friend in the world. And now Pop gets to participate in all that. And what a personal space that, it's not that connecting fans to fans isn't personal, because it is, and it's important. But moving into some of these other aspects of life, what a personal space to be in, and what a privilege for a brand like Funko to be able to participate in different aspects of fans' lives. And obviously with that, we think comes a huge opportunity, as we go forward. And through this, because we get to participate in different aspects of different people's lives, bringing in different interests, we think from a consumer standpoint, this is a huge opportunity for us. Today, our core fan base really lives within the millennial, although it continues to expand, and that will always be our core. But looking at these three different groups, each one serves a really important purpose for us. First, with Gen Z, you think about how Pop Yourself can participate in cultural conversation going forward that really Pop can't. Imagine something goes trending on TikTok, the red boots from a few months ago. That's very hard for like Pop to react to, make a Pop, like what is that in Pop form? But because Pop Yourself is people and how people experience life, something like that can come into this brand as we go forward. So we're excited about that, and we're excited about how we can use that to engage Gen Z as we go forward. Another one that has been growing for us is families. We've seen this with our core business, and I can't tell you how many families I've talked to over my time at Funko of sons collecting with their moms, or complete families, showing up at events. It's something that they all have their own individual fandoms, but it's something they participate in together, which is great. This for Pop Yourself allows us to engage with families different. Retail is this brand has been launched in our retail stores for the past few years. It's been the #1 item. It gave us the reason to believe all the things. But one of the things that we noticed in stores was family and friends and groups were going through this process together, laughing, building out each other, taking turns, seeing, building each other and what that would be, and having special reveals. That's something like retail is going to be a part of this strategy going forward. In fact, a big part. How we think about the experience is going to be really important in engaging families. I'm not sitting here and saying we're Build-A-Bear, but I think there is, a blueprint there as we think about experience in person that could be interesting to emulate as we go forward. And then the last and most important, we'll get into this in more, not most important, but the last and most relevant, given the time of year we're heading into, is gift giving. We think, Funko as a business is seasonal. We're seasonal. We will see the spikes, but we're also seasonal around content. Like we'll see some of our biggest months in the summer based on tentpole releases or evergreen items tied to tentpole releases. But this is a real opportunity to bring gift giving in, because it's personal, and it just lends itself to that. And it's not just, hey, we're heading into the holiday season, which we think will be great. It's Valentine's Day, it's Mother's Day, it's Father's Day, it's graduations, it's birthdays, it's anniversaries. All of that now comes into play for Pop Yourself, where we think we can add spikes to our business that weren't necessarily there before. Before I get into the highlights, those are some fundamental things about the brand. I just wanted to pause and just see if there was any questions on any of that before we move into what we're seeing since launch.
I have a question. For bodies on the Pop Yourself, how come there aren't any licensed brands, such as your head on a Spider-Man body, things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, you'll see that in a slide coming up. Licensing is coming. We strategically launched without it, because we thought that this room had the air to breathe as an introduction point, an opportunity for the Pop IP to step forward and be front of the line and establish that. But certainly as we go forward, we know that the importance of connecting fans to fandoms to our business, that's going to be a key part of this. So while it's not here at launch, we have, I'm not going to say any specific licenses today, but I'm going to go into how we're thinking about it, because I think there's some really interesting and authentic ways to engage different fan bases. But that was a strategic decision we made. But with that said, it's definitely coming in 2024.
Okay.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Hi, can I ask a question? This is Nadia with the Tacos and Geeks. Will people be able to kind of ask for anything specific? Like, let's say, like a sports team, like if someone that plays for like a team, maybe not necessarily like professional, but like high school or basketball or something like that?
Yes, that is. So I'm going to get into this a little bit, but listen, to the day one comment, this is day one from an assortment standpoint, and this is people, and we are going to constantly and have the pipeline to listen to fans on what's missing from our assortment and what, we can add that represents fans and that they can participate in. Over the summer, probably a top 5 thing I heard to your question was popping my team through youth sports, through high school sports. I mean, with the NIL, there's obviously a lot of attention around young non-professional sports, I should say. So that's absolutely something that we're exploring, whether that's looking at multiple figures in a single pack, like literally building like a team pack, versus making sure we have all the sports, the top youth sports represented from an accessory standpoint, from a jersey standpoint, and making sure that from a number standpoint that we're facilitating that either through print on the actual item or stickers. There's a lot that we're working through with that. But to answer your question, that is also something, popping your team, that's going to be that is on our calendar for next year. Okay. Anything else, Brianna?
No, I'm not seeing anything else in the chat. Reminder that if you'd like to ask questions in real time, just drop them in the chat, and then Dave will cover those with Dave at the end of the presentation.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what we're seeing thus far from our brand. The first is, yes, we are selling items, but we are enabling that it's not just about purchasing, an avatar that you create. It's something that you can download. It's something you can share. That's going to be something that we'll continue to invest in and continue to make that experience better. There is a huge digital play here as we think about, one of our marketing slogans is join the population. We want to create a world of pops, and since we've moved over to our 3D avatar builder, which was earlier this year, we've had over 1 million digital avatars created, and just what is it, 7 or 8 months since we launched that. So we're really excited about what that means from how we can convert those to actual product sales, but also socially and sharing and getting, back to the cementing the pop as an icon. This is going to be very important to our strategy going forward, which I thought was super interesting. And that's another version of me there with my dog, and I love baseball and Halloween. So more about me, different versions you can purchase. The other thing that we're seeing, it is the #1 item by far on Funko.com since launch. So we're super excited about the results we've seen out of the gate. I think I'll just throw this out here too. I think in the next week or two, it will be the #1 dollar item on the year. So we're definitely on track as we lead into the holiday season, which we have really big expectations. It's something that the accessibility has really resonated with fans. We are going to continue to work through to make sure the unboxing experience and the experience of shipping and how quickly people get it and all of that is as good as it can be. If you haven't seen, this will be small on the screen, but if you haven't seen the box we sent it in, we really focus on the you're one of one, thinking of bright, colorful packaging, because the moment that you or a loved one becomes a pop figure is such a special moment, and that's going to be something that we continue to invest in, and it's going to be important for the longevity of the program, and in addition to all the different things we can do with the assortment. But we're really excited about what this means from a what our fans choosing standpoint. I think this is super interesting because today Funko.com through the growth of Funko.com, we've learned more about our fans than we ever have before. And that's extremely, valuable for us to deliver better experiences and better products for them going forward. Up until the launch of Pop Yourself, the interest and affinities are very much license specific. That's the business we're in. But it's really interesting when you bring in a whole amount of new non-licensed items and you think about what are resonating with people. And I think it's just, looking at these are the top 10 accessories chosen. It's just, these are the things that are part of people's everyday's life. You may not watch that superhero movie every day. You may not read that comic book every day, but a lot of people are gaming every day. A lot of people have their morning coffee. A lot of people exercise every day. A lot of people are at work on laptops. Like these are the things that, are just interesting that people identify with and that we can learn from as we go forward, which is, I think, going to be really great for our brand. On September 12th last week, I think this is a great example of how we're going to participate in the seasons. We launched our Halloween assortment, which allows fans to costume up in a skeleton outfit or a mummy outfit with a whole bunch of accessories. What's not pictured here and what's pictured on a buddy slide is probably the cutest little ghost you'll ever see. But what we're excited about this is obviously something that resonates with our Halloween in general resonates with our fan base, but it's also an example of how we can participate in seasonal moments that may not be necessarily gift-giving moments, but they're an opportunity to re-engage our fan base like Halloween. And the results we've seen out of this are great. This is a limited time assortment, and we are definitely on a path to sell out of this prior to 10/31. So, get yours while supplies last. And just here's another piece of content of just how we are engaging our fan base that's centered around Halloween. So I'll play this right now. Kind of spooky, kind of fun. That, I think, was the intent. So that's an example of seasonal. An example of life moments of something we introduced last week is babies. I think to the question on sports teams earlier in youth sports, this idea of family and coming together. Right now we have two body types that I would say are adult focused. I think we are looking at what building out a family would be. And I think this is the first step. Obviously, having a baby is a huge milestone in people's lives. So we're really excited that Pop Yourself can now be a part of a moment that, Funko in general would really probably never be involved with. And if you think about whether you or a loved one just had a baby and what this can represent of that, you think about baby showers, you think about reveal and announcement moments, all of that now Pop Yourself can participate. So when we say it's a privilege to be a part of these moments that we weren't a part of prior, this is it. This is an example. And this is something that we are, as we move into 2024, are going to be doing a deep dive of how we can specifically have, items where fans can celebrate these key life moments. And if you haven't seen a baby, I have one here. I know it's probably small on the screen. You can see the scale sits up in its own blister, super cute. So we're excited about the early response on this too. And again, I think it's a good contrast of how we're going to participate in seasons and how we're going to participate in life moments. The next is one of the other stats that I didn't mention, which I'm fine sharing. We are over 50% of the time, people when they purchase a Pop Yourself item are adding a buddy. What is a buddy? A buddy is, for all purposes, a pet, but we have some great plans for this line. The scale of a pop to a buddy, I'll just flash this up again. You can see it's just kind of a cute little sidekick that goes with you. But buddies have been a mainstay since we launched them in stores, and up until this point, they've been just dogs and cats. But we know that but we can have fun with buddies. They could be literal like a pet, which is why we're bringing in a rabbit and a snake and more dogs. But there's opportunities to bring in things like a ghost. That's the ghost I was referencing, which our number one buddy up until this point has been a black cat. It just goes, it cranks. It's the number one. No other buddy has really come close to it, although collectively they all do well. But last week, with the launch of the ghost, the black cat was finally dethroned. So we're really excited about what this can mean. This is an attach item, so this is an additional $4 as we go forward, and you have the opportunity to add up to 2. So buddies is a place that we're going to continue to invest in as we go forward. And these buddies you see here outside of the ghost are releasing next week. So we're really excited to expand the buddy assortment and choice for fans. The next thing I want to talk about is something that is happening today. So to the digital and activation standpoint, to the join the population comment, we're doing something that for us, as far as reaching Gen Z, reaching a new customer, is something that we've just never really done anything quite like this. So today on TikTok, TikTok's all about fun videos and viral moments and filters and funny, humorous, all sorts of emotion short clips. And we're excited that we've partnered with TikTok to bring a lighter version of our builder into the platform. So if you go on TikTok and you go under effects, it's on the top row. I just looked at it. So we're really excited about this. I would give you a live demo, but we tried this earlier and it just didn't quite read. But we do have a video here to kind of show and walk through the experience, and we're really excited about what this can mean and how this can get our brand out there in a major way. And again, this is happening today.
Check me out, I'm a Funko Pop. This is the branded effect by Funko where you can actually customize yourself as a Funko Pop. So let's get started. Okay, skin tone, you can select your own skin tone. I'm gonna stick with this one. For eyes, definitely going with lashes. Oh my gosh, cute. Look, your eyebrows raise and your eyes blink. Okay, hairstyle. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go with this one. This feels most like me. Okay, for hair color, I'm gonna go with the blonde. Facial hair, I don't have any facial hair, but these are pretty cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, going with none. Accessories, glasses are adorable, but I'm gonna go with the sunglasses. Okay, and then you click this icon up here at the top. Ta-da! Here I am as a Funko Pop. Try out the effect for yourself, and you can go online to funko.com to pop yourself right now.
Yeah, so we're obviously really excited about what this can mean for the brand going forward and just reaching a larger audience. We also think it's just super fun. Back to the DNA of what our brand of Funko is and what Pop Yourself is. We think fans will have a lot of fun with this. I think the fact that it blinks and the eyebrows raise as yours do, I think we're excited to see the types of videos that fans make today. So that's something that we're going to be monitoring throughout the day and are excited about. So next, I want to talk about what's next. So those are some of the highlights that we've seen for Pop Yourself up until this point. As we go forward, we know we're knocking on the doorstep of holiday. And for us, we've launched this, we've campaigned, and we're going to be moving into a holiday push, positioning this really as the ultimate gift. Why? First and foremost, it's personal. I think whether you're a fan or even know what Pop is or not, the fact of getting a figure of yourself that you can display, that has your name on the box, that has your interest in the hands. I think that moment of getting that and seeing that, but also this idea of giving it, the person who gave it to you, it shows that you know them. I think that exchange is personal. And then it is a pop figure, so it's also fun. So we do think that this is a huge opportunity for us this holiday season. Like I said before, the gift giving season's going forward. At $30, we think that that's also a great price point for customization and personalization. If you compare that to just other products in the marketplace, we think that we're well positioned at that price point. And the fact that you'll get it at a reliable time. Right now, I mean, these are shipping out in a day and a half, and there's ground shipping, so it's arriving to fans in 4 to 5 days. We're planning to scale as holiday scale, so we can do the best we can to keep that as we go forward. So this is a reliable gift as we move into the holiday season. I think that's a really important point that we focused a lot on the fulfillment side, which I haven't talked a lot about, because obviously the complexity of that, of putting together really a one of one every time going out the door. But for us, this holiday aside, the fact that, hey, it's January and I got a birthday party next weekend, is this a gift that you can go on Funko.com and receive and expect to give? And the short answer for us is yes. And that's going to be really important as we go forward. So as we scale, those are the problems we're going to have to solve, and we're going to solve, because for us, that's a key part of the experience, and it's going to be a key part of the experience this holiday. One of the things we're going to showcase this holiday is, like for Halloween, you can become a mummy, and you can become a skeleton. This holiday, you are going to be able to become an elf, which we're really excited about. This is something that we tested in our stores for just a few weeks last year, but we're excited about bringing this to the masses and what this can mean. I think there's a lot of celebration of families and jammies and all of that coming together, and we think that this will resonate with fans, and you can expect to see this later this holiday season. So we expect a quite literal take on seasonal, in addition to all the other just everyday gift giving moments. So we're excited about this. And then just to talk through, I'm going to spend a little time going into detail. I know the slide's generic, but I promise I'm going to give you a little more detail than that. So the first is, like some of the questions that have come up on product evolution. First and foremost, we're going to listen to we have multiple pipelines that we are listening to, whether it's actual social listening, whether it's our own social channels and polls, whether it's our customer service. We have active flows of information coming to us about what fans want to see next, and we are absolutely going to be listening to that. In fact, we have a whole updated assortment that has another 150 items coming in the first half of next year that is 100% listening on to what fans want to see. Because like I said before, ultimately this brand works if fans can see themselves, if they can identify with the choice that we're providing. And I'll give one example. One of the things that popped up in the feedback was a wheelchair, and that's something that we heard across all different vehicles, and that's an example of something that you're going to be able to get in the first half of next year. So it's important for fans, again, to see themselves. The other thing with the product evolution is more seasonal moments and being a part of cultural conversation. So like I mentioned, all the different gift giving moments of Valentine's Day is happening, Mother's Day is happening, Father's Day is happening. We'll have literal examples of product that fans can celebrate. The other thing we're looking in as we get into these special moments is we're going to start to introduce special boxes, which we think will just add to the collectability and specialness of the moment. So those are all things that you'll expect to see us do early next year. The next is licensing. I mean, this is a question we get, obviously, because of the nature of our business, and strategically, like I said, we launched without licensing. This is about celebration of pop and cementing that as an icon. But we know that our fans love fandoms, and we know that that's how a lot of people get their identities, which we embrace and that's great. As we move into next year, licensing is actually absolutely going to be a part of it. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a sneak of how we're thinking about it. One is probably the obvious of, hey, we had accessory choices, you have t-shirt choices that you may pop into Funko.com and see that there's certain accessories would be highlighted, and you can represent that and participate in that. And I think that that's a way you think that this would how licensing would live within this brand. The other thing we are exploring is we know that there are fan bases out there that are massive, and not just the amount of fans they have, but the amount of content they have, where Pop Yourself can in said big license can be its whole own ecosystem. So we are exploring that too, and how the distribution side of that will come to life. I think may or may not be on Funko.com. And those are the types of things that we are exploring of how we can bring this brand to life for fans. The last thing that we think this lends for licensing that really lends itself well to our point in time events. Obviously, events are a part of our DNA. We do the Comic Cons, and we do the Funko Bills, and we're about to go to New York Comic Con. Those are big, and I would expect some sort of representation of that as we Pop Yourself in that as we go forward. But there's also cultural moments that tie to licensing. This is one that's not imminent, but I'll just take the Super Bowl as an example, where it is a point in time, it is a weekend. Imagine if you did we were there and you did have custom items that were the teams playing, hopefully the Bears one day for 2034, that where you can put yourself in that team's jersey, have that custom box, and it's very special for that moment. We think that's important to drive the collectability of this brand as we go forward. So we're excited about and are exploring what exactly that can look like as we go forward. And then the last piece, and I'll kind of close with this, is currently this is only available in the US. More than any other license we have, we know that this is going to resonate across the globe because it's people. And so the one of the things that we're actively working on as we move into next year is how can we expand this into different territories, and that is going to be something we do next year. The exact rollout is something that we're actively working on day to day now, but we'll have more to share on that, because obviously getting this accessible to more fans is really important for us. So that's another pillar that you'll see as we move into 2023. With that is the end of what I had prepared. Hopefully that just gave you a little bit of insight into how we're thinking about the brand within our portfolio at Funko. What are the highlights we're seeing? There's a lot that we're really encouraged about, and how do we take that momentum and build it as we move into next year is what we wanted to showcase for you today. So with that, I think we'll open up another question period, if that works.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, we have a few Pop Yourself related questions that we can go through. First, we had a question. Can you tell me where the figures are manufactured? If overseas, have you considered building facilities in the United States?
We are, so yes, to everything you just said, they are components that are manufactured overseas, and we have a fulfillment center in Mexico, which is, I'm in San Diego, and it's just I can get there in under 45 minutes, that assembles and ships them over the border to ship out in the United States, is how it's currently planned. As we go forward, we're looking at all options. I mean, because we're talking about small components, there are opportunities for us to think differently about it, but that's at least currently how the programs run.
Great. Are there plans for more hairstyles, hair colors, and clothing options to be able to match more personal styles?
Yes, lots of that. I mean, I think to the day one comment, our assortment had to start somewhere, but it again is really day one. And as we go forward, the biggest thing for us is listening to fans and fans feedback and implementing that into this assortment. So this is going to get bigger. We'll optimize where we need to optimize, where, you know, we can look at slow sellers or outfits that don't resonate anymore, but that's going to be really important for us from a trend perspective, but also to make sure that people can see themselves perspective as we go forward. So starting next spring, we have a whole next round of items coming through. And if there are specific things, to an example of fan feedback, just provide those directly to myself or Brianna. We have a running list that we evaluate, and we look for trends and themes. And all we need to see is that, and things get added to the assortment. So that's a long answer to a short answer, which is yes.
Someone had mentioned your reference to Build-A-Bear, and they're curious about the experience for retail, given that there's an Everett store with the Pop Yourself experience in the Hollywood store, obviously. Is there more to be considered for the retail experience further afield, or is this really just an online experience for now?
No, I mean, retail is, I say that comment intentionally because it retail is a key part of this strategy going forward. To what I said about what we're seeing in stores about families coming together. I think because it's accessible on Funko.com now, we have to think differently about our stores. They have to, as experiential as our stores are for the Pop Yourself section, has to be more experiential. So the types of things that we're looking at is differentiated assortment, differentiated box. As you go through the build experience, is that different than online? Are there unique photo ops, and is there a ceremonial pickup when you get your pop? All of those things are being evaluated. So the short answer is yes, we are going to be looking at both HQ and Hollywood, but there's also, we think, opportunity, like I said, with pop-ups and other smaller format where this can come to life even beyond those two stores, where we can bring and infuse some of that experience going forward.
To that same sort of point, do you think there's an opportunity to have like an East Coast HQ?
Well, you want my personal opinion or what I think is going to happen? Clearly, we have a lot on the West Coast with the two stores that we have, and even if you look at the events, we're excited about going to New York Comic-Con and what that represents. I think that, I mean, I'm not going to say yes because nothing's imminent, but we are actively, from a Pop Yourself standpoint, looking at ways where we can bring this experience to the East Coast, whether that's in a temporary way, like a weekend pop-up, or something that's small format in a little bit more semi-permanent way. All of those things are being explored right now, but we always, I mean, the East Coast thing is nothing new for our brand. We want to be there more than we are today. We want to show up more. That's why we're excited about New York in a couple of weeks. But that's kind of where we're at today with that question.
And on the online perspective, shipping is restricted to the US. Are there plans to expand access to other countries like Canada?
Specifically, well, I would say there are plans to expand to other territories. I mean, it's obvious for us to think that Canada and Mexico, just given the geographic location of those, would be natural territories. I don't want to commit to anything today because there's a lot of complexity to work through. But yes, as we move into next year, we are going to be actively looking at territories to ship to and expand to. So more to share on that soon.
Great. So are there any special, you mentioned special days and holidays, are there plans or discussions for wedding related Pop Yourself options?
Yes. And I would love to show you the assortment that's on my floor over here that we are working through. Yes, the answer is yes. I mean, the wedding season is something that we are going to be celebrating next year. One of the things that we've seen fans do is not only give them as gifts, but use these as cake toppers. So there's a lot that we are embracing. There's also some other, without getting into too many details, different price point options that we're looking at for things like that can really kind of elevate what that experience is about bringing people together. So more to share on that soon, but short answer is yes, that's in the pipeline. We do have some suits and things in the assortment now, but it's nowhere near where it's gonna be in the future. In by future, I mean first half of next year.
Since this is a customizable product, are there plans for accessory packs and removable items?
Pushing me on the product question.
Yeah.
But
Well,
short,
I think people are
short
excited,
answer is
right?
yeah. Short answer is yes, we are looking at accessory packs. We're looking at that from a licensing solution to hey, it's my game day pack. Because the other thing that I didn't get into too much detail, there is the interchangeability. So I'm holding my laptop here. You can take that out. So there is some of that when it comes to accessories and things like that. So those are also things that we're exploring. We think that also there's an opportunity to potentially add collectability into that, special package, special accessories. That's also something that's a part of our core business. Like, how do we bring some of the collectability into this? But short answer is yes, timing is TBD on that, and how exactly that comes to life. But that is something that's being actively explored and developed.
Awesome. Well, that takes us, oh, got another one from Sarah. How many accessories can you currently choose? Can you get additional ones as add-ons like the buddy?
Yeah, so currently you can choose two that fit in each of your hand, and then you can choose up to two buddies. The buddies are an extra price, but that's where it is today. And to the question previous, there probably is, opportunity if you're sitting here and you love ice cream and you love sushi, but pizza's the third favorite and you can't leave that out. How we address that and how we can provide that option for fans going forward is something that we're exploring, likely through the packs, but we'll see.
Well, great, Dave, that took us through all the questions. Oh, here we go. Is articulation, elbows, knees ever something that could happen with this Pop Yourself line?
I would say I wouldn't want to say never, but I'd also say that we want to be true to what Pop is. Pop is a vinyl figure that has limited articulation. So I would think that is, I would never say never, but I think we also want to be true to what Pop is. And not, deviate too far from that. But I think it's an interesting comment. It's just, it hasn't been something we've explored.
Great. Are there any other questions? All right. Well, then that officially takes us through the chat questions. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, everyone that joined. If any additional questions pop up, you know how to connect with me one-on-one. So please send those to me and I'll do my best to get those answered by Dave. But as a reminder, I will send a follow-up to this with the recording of this meeting so that you can reference this back, as well as share additional assets that were shown during this presentation. So thank you all again. We hope you have a wonderful day and we will chat soon.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Bye.